And good afternoon. Welcome to Today at the Races, presented by Fidelity First. I'm Stanton Salter. Tim Tulloch joining me for today's Today at the Races. Keith Fustel, he'll be back next week. We gave Robin the morning off. We'll hear him all afternoon. Good to have you on. Good Saturday yesterday. Let's see, Lacey Gaudet, Claudio Gonzalez, Rodney Jenkins, they all won. Dale Capuano had a 2-win day, and the Bug Boy Weston Hamilton with a big 3-win day yesterday.
And not only that, my friend Stan Salter had a big day yesterday. 6 winners and the late pick 5, so you were red hot also. So everyone got in the game yesterday.
Picking up from where you left off on Friday, the 8-win day Friday. You had a good day yesterday. The $32 late pick 5 ticket that paid $316. So I have another $32 late pick 5 ticket today. That starts in race 6. If you like horse racing, live horse racing, and football, come on out here. Enjoy Sunday Fun Day with us here at Laurel Park. A big 10-race card. We're going to handicap all 10 races here on our early show. Go up to the sports bar if you want to watch the football games and horse racing. We have the NFL Sunday Ticket up there at that new sports bar, second floor of the clubhouse. So go on up there. Also, starting at 1:25 as the Ravens have a home game today in Tennessee. So 3 hours before the start of their game at 1:25, 105.7 The Fan. Baltimore Game Day Uncensored will be uncensored. Game Day Uncensored will be broadcasting live from the sports bar today here at Laurel Park. Kenny Weinman, Jerry Coleman, Benny Serrato, they'll be all up there, so they'll have you all covered for football. If you want to pick the football games and make some money, all right, we have the $3,000 football pick'em contest. You enter up there at the sports bar. You buy a program, and you get an entry into that $3,000 football pick'em contest. So you can pick the ponies, so you can pick the horses today, the ponies, whatever you want to call them. You can pick the football games. What's your pick on the big Ravens-Tennessee game later on today?
I think the Ravens should be able to win the game. I'm taking the Ravens, but Tennessee's very, very tough at home. I think they're 11 for the last 13 at home, so it's going to be a little. They need to win today.
Hopefully,
they have to win today.
All right, so coming up next Saturday, it's Maryland's Day at the Races. Come celebrate the Jim McKay Maryland Million Day. Next Saturday, special early post, 12 o'clock. It's a free admission. 12 races showcasing Maryland's rich thoroughbred tradition. We'll have on-track events, a kids' corral, Maryland Million hat contest. Also, you get a free Maryland Million hat to the first 4,000 fans that buy a program. That's a snazzy-looking Maryland Million hat. You can get tables in the silk. You can get a seat there in the Silks room on Maryland Million Day for $10. $10 for the day, includes a live program and a hat. Tickets available at the guest services counter today, and it's free admission. You can just come out and hang out. If you want to get a table in the dining room or something, call the track or go to laurelpark.com for all your tickets and information for Maryland's Day at the Races, the Jim McKay Maryland Million Day next Saturday. I know we had a bunch of workers yesterday. Flash Phelps, who's trying to get into elite companies. He's trying to become one of the few horses to win 3 Maryland Million races. Flash Phelps, he's won the Maryland Million Turf twice. He's trying to win the Maryland Million Turf for a third time this year. Talked to Rodney Jenkins yesterday. You talked about the work, and we talked to Rodney yesterday afternoon. He was very pleased with the work of Flash Phelps yesterday.
It was a monster work Flash Phelps put in yesterday, 59 and change, and I watched it, and it was just that good. He did it well in hand and easily, and he looks very, very good going to the Maryland Million Turf.
All right, so all the pre-entries are out, all the press releases and information on laurelpark.com for Maryland Million Day. Let's get right to it today. Let's show you a picture of the main track. We're off the turf today. Main track, we're going to start out as good. It's a sealed track right now. We've had a little rain on and off this morning. Hopefully we'll have a dry afternoon and the track can dry out a little bit. 50s, a little chilly today. Bring a little coat if you're coming out here to enjoy the horse racing and football.
Oh, absolutely. And the greatest thing about it is they're both here indoor sports. You can sit indoors, watch your football, watch your racing, grab a beer, as I would, and have a good time.
All right, here we go. Let's get right to it. In race 1, we're going to kick off the early pick 5 in the opener. Both your pick fives here at Laurel Park. Your best bet with that industry low 12% takeout. Mandatory payout on this early pick five starting in race 1. We're going 5.5 furlongs on the main track, rated good, claiming 16,000 for 3-year-old fillies or older. Filly mares never won 3 is the condition. I go with the 4. We both have the 4 on top here. Marie from Paris looks the best. Looks like she's the best filly in here from the Mary Epler barn. Horacio Caramanos rides this filly by Louis Couture's. A good second last out at this level here at Laurel Park. That was on the main track. 61 buyer speed figure that day. Had to break from the 1 hole, and she was coming in that race after a couple months off. Now second off the layoff. Better post today, breaking from the 4 hole.
I think there's a lot going for Marie for Paris. My top pick also. Second off a layoff. That was a good effort. First off the layoff, she only got beat 4 lengths. She ran a solid number. But if you look down her form, you'll see a nice race on a good racetrack right here at Laurel Park. That's probably what she'll get today. She ran a decent race that day, finishing behind Municipant. We know Municipant is a runner. So I think that's a good race there also. So I think there's a lot going for Marie from Paris.
All right, so we both have the 4 on top, the 5 Dancer Stroll from the Jerry Brooks barn. You have in your exacta Aaron Walker rides this 3-year-old filly by Stroll. Good form recently. The 2 of her last 3 races have been pretty good. They were on the synthetic up there at Presque Isle. Now she tries the main track today.
Yeah, she tries the main track today. She's in very, very good form up at Presque Isle. She didn't run bad over the dirt at Timonium 4 starts ago, but I think she probably converts that form from Presque Isle. We've seen a lot of horses come down from Presque Isle after running or training over that and running well here. I think she carries that form over with Aaron Walker for Gerald Brooks.
And I have the 8 in the exacta, the Wildcat Sunshine from the Jose Corrales barn. Fergal Lynch rides this filly by the Wildcat. A nice win last out against 16,000 2 Life. That was a race that came off the turf, so she's a closing sprinter. Lynch will probably have her outside in the clear turner for home. I think the 8 gets a piece of it here in the opener.
Well, she certainly picked up her head in her last start. She ran a lifetime best number by about 10 points, 6 points if you go way, way back in her form. So she looks like she's coming back around a little bit. That was a nice race. Gets the win, and Fergal Lynch returns, so you have to like that.
All right, so both Tim and I on the 4, Marie from Paris here in the opener to kick off that early pick 5. We start the rolling super high 5 here in race 2. We'll have a little carryover to kick off that rolling super high 5. There it is, $881. That's a low 15% takeout. We have it every race with 7 or more betting interests, so keep your eye on the rolling super high 5. Starts in race 2. We also start the early pick 4 here in race 2. We're going 6 furlongs, claiming 20,000 for 2-year-old fillies. I have the 5 Pass Perfect on top. So do you. We have a video spotlight of this filly, 2-year-old filly by Stay Thirsty from the Anthony Pecoraro barn. She romped last out. Let's show you this at Delaware. She was in front by 5, turnover home, and cruises by 7 1/4 with Carol Cedeno aboard. A big improvement in her second start for Pecoraro, who's having a good year with his 2-year-olds. Pecoraro 25% recently with his 2-year-olds from a large sampling. She just gallops up there, 57 buyer, and Pecoraro finds a nice spot for her today. Not getting too crazy, not stepping up to allowance company, just finds a nice open 20,000 claimer. That was first time Lasix, that win we just showed you there. So this filly, she's going to be awfully tough, I think, here in race 2.
And Pecораro's 30% off this type of layoff. But let's be real about that last race. It was a short field. It was a maiden 15 at Delaware Park. Those races tend to be really soft. She earned herself a big number. We've talked about it before. It's easy to earn a big number against a weak bunch. But Pecораro's very, very good with his 2-year-olds, as you mentioned. She'll still be my top pick. Don't know if it's going to be as easy as that maiden. It shouldn't be as easy as that maiden, but she won it convincingly.
All right, we both have the 1 Party on Bourbon in our exacta. 2-year-old filly by New Year's Day for Brandon Culp. Carlos Carrasco on this filly. She just won last out against maiden 15 up there at Penn National in her second start. She made a big improvement for the maiden score.
And she's in the same boat as Pass Perfect. She dropped down to that. Pass Perfect didn't drop, but this one did drop down to that maiden 15 at Penn National. Hooked herself at a pretty easy group. Didn't win as convincingly, only won by a half length, but ran a much better number. Next out winner in Oceano Russo came out and won the filly that runs second behind her. So there's a little encouragement there. But, this is well spotted, both these fillies. They should both run pretty well.
Both the 5 and a 1 catch off groups here in the second race. I used the 8 Hail the Queen, an okay maiden score last out. That was at Ellis Park against maiden 16,000, was claimed that day. That was back in August. We haven't seen the filly since then. Now in the Marcus Zuleta barn. We both like the 3 here, Knockout Kid from the Jerry Robb barn. Jerry having a decent fall meet here. He gets Victor Carrasco. This filly taking a little drop in class here, the 3 Knockout Kid.
Oh, for sure. Coming out of a restricted stake at Delaware Park, but it was still a little bit of a stake, and she had beat 11 lengths that day, but she has other races on her form. She was running A other thans, where she wasn't running that bad. You go back 3 races at Timonium, she only got beat 3 lengths that day while running 4th. So there's better races in her. This will be a very, very good spot for Knockout Kid.
All right, so a cold 5-1 exacta hopefully there in race 2. Let's take a look at the third race. We're going 5.5 furlongs on the main track here in race 3. All day we're on the main track. Main track rated good. Maiden 25,000 for 2-year-olds here in race 3. I have the 1. So do you. Quality Step. We should play a cold early pick 3. We're in agreement here on our top picks for the first 3. Quality Step, a 2-year-old colt by Elusive Quality for Kelly Breen, taking a drop from those 2 maiden special weight races up there at Monmouth into a nice cozy maiden 25 today. Doesn't have too much early speed, but might have improved speed today. Fergal Lynch takes the call here on the 1, Quality Step.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen with this drop in class. There will be more speed. You can absolutely toss her last race on the slop. Didn't handle one side of that. Comes in here with 3 monster works. Sends her last start 5/8 of a mile October 1st, 101 flat, and a nice half mile on October 9th. And 48 and change. So coming in here with in good form, toss that last race. If she runs back to her maiden start, she could be very, very tough here. She ran a 51 speed figure, good enough to get it done here. Fergal Lynch rides.
All right, we like the same 4 here. I have the 5 in my exacta, first-time starter from the Lacey Gaudette barn. Number 5, Vorian, by a 2-year-old colt by Atreides. That's a young Medaglia d'Oro sires, a PA bred. Lacey Gaudette recently 22% with a nice positive ROI with her first-time starters. This 2-year-old colt with some nice half-mile works coming into today. Rosario Montanez will ride Lasix in debut here for the 5 Vorian.
There's certainly been no one hotter than Lacey Gaudette with her first-time starters and her young horses, and she hits at 25% when she debuts one in a maiden claiming race, which she's doing today. And you're absolutely right. This one comes in here with some really, really nice work, some nice gate works, which I always like to see. But that work on September 22nd, half mile, 47-1, second of 76 works that day for a 2-year-old. That's a big work for a 2-year-old with all those other horses, a lot of older horses working that morning. Huge work right there.
Yep, all right, so we both like the 5. You have a first-time starter in your exacta, the 2, Oi to the World, 2-year-old colt by Colonel John, first-time starter here for Hammy Smith. Victor Carrasco will ride a bunch of works. I see a nice 5-furlong bullet workout back in mid-September and a bullet 5-furlong workout early October. So the 2 looks well prepared here and in for maiden 25 here in the debut off those good works.
Hammy's been a little cold with his first-time starters, but it's only a matter of time, and today could be the time with Oi to the World. This horse not only comes in with some nice works on his work pattern, he comes in with a good work pattern. He's been working steadily since the 1st of August. He hasn't missed a beat, has come back every 7 to 8 days. This horse should be ready for Hammy and Victor Carrasco. They hit at 22%, so you have to like that. A good break could be all over.
How about the 3? On the Tap It Now, a first-time starter from the Damon Dill DeVico barn, 2-year-old Gelding. I like that by Justin Phillip out of a Tap It mare. Gets Trevor McCarthy to take the call here on this first-time starter, and this horse has some nice works as well. Nice 5-furlong workout September 22nd. Nice half-mile work from the gate October 6th. So the 3 been working well for a good barn. They had Taco Supreme run well yesterday off the layoff. They get McCarthy here on the 3 on the Tap It Now.
Yeah, I like I'm the Tap It Now. As you mentioned, comes in here with a good series of work, so a decent 5/8 work on September 22nd, but he has a really, really nice gate work. His last work coming into this race, October 6th, 48 and change from the gate. I always like to see a strong gate work close to their debut race within 1 or 2, maybe 3 works of their debut. So I like to see that. I've got I'm Tapping Now on my ticket. So do you, and everyone should.
All right, so we like the same 4 horses there in the third race. Let's take a look here at race 4. We kick off the middle pick 4 here in the 4th race. We're going a flat mile, a nice 2 other than allowance contest for filly and mares 3 and up. Optional claiming $35,000. We like some similar horses here. I have the 1A on top here. The 1A is Barley Jack, entered main track only in this race by trainer Kelly Rubley. So homebred for Gunpowder Farms. Jevion Toledo will ride a sharp, won 2 in a row earlier this fall, late summer. Nice first level allowance win here at Laurel Park, going a mile. That was an open A other than early August here at Laurel. Strong 77 buyer with that win. Then won by 9 against PA Bred Allowance Company on a good racetrack at Parks back on September 1st. Maybe the Shine Again Stakes race at Laurel last out a little too tough, but I think this filly bounces back to a big number today, the 1A Barley Jack.
And I agree. I was back and forth between the 1A Barley Jack and the 9 Isotope, and I ended up landing on the 9 Isotope, but we'll get to him in a minute. But look, Barley Jack is coming into this race in good form. Toss the Shine Again, probably too tough. This horse's lifetime best race, as you mentioned, was right here at Laurel Park, going a 1-turn mile where he fired a 77 speed figure, and that would be good enough if he can duplicate that race. Comes back with another 77, going 7/8 of a mile at Park. So this horse is in very, very good form for Kelly Rubley, who's having herself a nice little year here. She hits a 20% in her allowance races. That's what she gets here. I like Barley Jack in my exacta.
All right, so 1A, 9 for me. You have the 9 on top here. Isotope, entered main track only by Jeremiah Engelhardt. Trevor McCarthy on this 4-year-old filly. She galloped last out against A other than, going a mile on the main track. She has a win on the off-going, so the 9 is going to be awfully tough for Strong Connections.
I think so. Very, very strong connections, and this is why I ultimately landed on Isotope over Barley Jack. Jeremiah Engelhardt hits in every category, hits strong. 2 off this layoff, 22%. 1 last start, 25%. Routes, 23%. Very, very strong. However, I like this horse's overall body of work over his last 5, 6, 7 races better than Barley Jack. He's been running more consistent numbers. Barley Jack has been running nicely over his last 3. Isotope's been running nicely over his last 5, 6, or 7. So that's how I ended up on Isotope under Trevor McCarthy for Jeremiah Engelhardt.
All right, so we both like the same 2 on top in our exacta. The 7 Folk Magic we both like. Make the rider Rosario Montanez. Rosario Montanez on the 7 Folk Magic for Jamie Nass, 4-year-old filly. Has won 2 in a row. Nice 2 other than allowance win, 2 back at Delaware. Now, that was a race, a small 5-horse field. It came off the turf that day, going a mile on the main track, but still a good result. And then she galloped last out against Starter Allowance Company up there at Delaware. So this filly's in very good form here for top connections. You get Montanez, and she's probably your likely speed here, the 7 Folk Magic.
Yeah, and I've always had a little, but I just think a lot of the races are a lot softer at Delaware Park than they are here, and we see it all the time where these horses can't convert their forms. A few of Anthony Pecoraro's, a couple here and there, but for the most part, they just simply can't. However, if you go back and look at this horse's form, you'll see some nice races right here at Laurel Park. Just this past June, this horse fired a 79 speed figure in a 2 other than, going a mile and 16th here at Laurel. So he is very, very capable. He's going to have to run better than he has over she has over her last 3 or 4 starts up there at Delaware Park. But it is in her. She can do it.
All right, so we like the same 3 on top there in race 4. A real nice 2 other than allowance condition, going a mile on the main track. We start the middle pick 4 there in race 4. Let's get a quick commercial break. We start the Rainbow Pick 6 today in race 5. A little carryover, a little shy of 900 there in the pick 6 carryover. I like the late pick 5 starting in race 6. I know you like the late pick 4. That's coming up in the 7th, so lots of handicapping to go. We'll be right back.
Whether you're at home or at the track, have a stake in the race when you bet with ExpressBet. Sign up for an ExpressBet online betting account and receive up to a $500 sign-up bonus.
All right, welcome back. Today's 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 starts in race 5. We have a carryover today. There it is, $874 in the Pick 6. It paid a little over $2,000 on both Thursday and Friday here. The Pick 6 did at Laurel Park. Let's take a look at the first leg. Race 5, we're going 6 furlongs, claiming $5,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. Haven't won a race in 6 months, never won 4. Is the condition. We both have the 3 on top, the Great Provider. We have a video spotlight to show you. 7-year-old Maryland-bred son of Orient Tate. He's made over $250,000. He's a 4-time winner here at Laurel Park. Here's the race, July 28th here at Laurel Park. This was against beaten 20,000 claimers going 6 furlongs on the main track. This was the first start in the Kieran McGee barn. He just claimed the horse for $15,000, stepped up to $20,000, and a good second in this race. Just gets beat half a length in this against $20,000, and had a little break after this race. Something went amiss there. Where maybe they just wanted to freshen the horse up, but then they dropped the horse in for $8,000 last out, beating $8,000 at Penn. It was 6-5 up there and finished 4th. Didn't run very well. Regressed in buyer numbers pretty good, but now we take another drop today to the beaten nickel level. Hopefully that'll do the trick here. The Great Provider is as cheap as this horse has been in for a long time. Trevor McCarthy will ride.
Well, in that start here at Laurel Park, he ran a big race that day, but he did hit the gate pretty hard coming out of there, so that maybe that had something to do with a little bit of a layoff. He might have bruised himself pretty good that day and needed the time, but Kieran McGee's very, very good. He's coming second off a layoff. He is at 27% second off this type of layoff, and as you mentioned, the Great Provider's running at the cheapest he has, the lowest level he has in a very, very long time, so I think this will pick this horse's head up. I didn't think that race in his last race was a terrible race at Penn National off the layoff. Penn can be a little funny for horses too, but I think he gets back into his form today.
All right, so we both have the 3 on top. I have the 8. We like the same 4 horses here. I have the 8 in my exacta Turban. He's a cool horse for Lacey Gaudet, an 8-year-old by Include, 3-time winner here at Laurel. He's made over $310,000, so he certainly has the back class for this level. He's a little quirky. Sometimes he's a little goofy to ride, but Forrest did a nice job on him last out at this beaten nickel level back in mid-July. A good second that day with the 62 buyer. Now, he's been freshened up since then. I see a 5-furlong workout on the work tab October 9th, so they gave him a little blowout, getting him ready for this spot. Turban, he can be tough at this level. I use him in my exacta.
He can be tough at this level, and he's certainly coming off a really nice race, getting beat a neck in his last at this level under Forest Boys, and it's basically the best race he's run this year as far as results go. He got beat a half length earlier, going 7/8 a mile. But the biggest thing with Turban, and you nailed it right on that. This is a quirky horse. I mean, he's eligible to do just about anything. He's eligible to be funny at the gate. He's eligible to get out in the lane. He's an older horse. He's got the talent. When he decides to do it, he's right there for you. But sometimes he's just like, maybe a beer and a dog would be more fun.
All right, you have the 6 in your exacta Humboldt Street for Dale Capuano. Dale with 2 wins yesterday. The bug boy, I think Raylu Gutierrez, he had a win yesterday. This 6-year-old son of 2-punch, 4-time winner here at Laurel Park. A big effort at Timonium, coming off a long layoff. That was his 6-year-old debut, and then he regressed last out against beaten 4,000 up at Delaware. Still fired at 55 buyer. This will be his 3rd off the layoff. He's a classy old horse. I think the 6 Humboldt Street sitting on a big race today.
Well, he's not a lot different than Turban. This horse can be a little quirky too. I've seen him train in the morning a lot, and he can be quirky too, and I think he gets better today. He probably needed both those starts because he is a little tricky to train. Since that last race at Delaware Park, he's come back with 2 really big works, including a 5/8 mile work on August 7th, a minute and change, a big work, 3rd of 9 works that morning. So this horse can really run a little bit. He is a little funny. I expect a lot of improvement out of him today, and it wouldn't surprise me one little bit if he gets the cookies.
All right, so we both like the same 4 horses there in race 5 with the 3, the Great Provider on top. Let's take a look at race 6. I like the late pick 5 today. It paid $316 yesterday, no carryover, but as always, that industry low 12% takeout on the pick 5s here at Laurel Park. Let's check out my ticket, a $32 play. I'm going to go 4 deep here in race 6 using the 1, 3, 5, 6, my top pick in race 6. 6, the 5, High Flying Guy for trainer Kathleen O'Connell. Race 7, my best bet of the day there, and that beaten nickel going 6 furlongs. I'm going to key on Claudio Gonzalez's 8-5 favored in race 7. Number 3, Army Gray, is going to be awfully tough to beat. Race 8, I'll go 2 deep there with the 5 and the 7. Race 9, nice starter allowance going a mile there in race 9. I'll use the 6 and the 11, the 6 Special Intention, my top pick there in race 9. Then race 10's a maiden 16,000 off the turf, 5.5 furlongs, wide open race in race 10. I go 4 deep there with the 1, 5, 10, 11. My top pick in race 10, the 1 Pro Riot from the Mike Trombetta barn. So there's my ticket. You can study it some more on the laurelpark.com website. Late pick 5 starts in race 6. Let's take a look at race 6. Going a flat mile, claiming 12,500, 3 and up. Never won 2 lifetime is the condition here in race 6. I have the 5 on top, High Flying Guy for trainer Kathleen O'Connell. We all know her as KO. You know her from down there in Florida. The 3-year-old by Revolving. Sharp win last out up there at Delaware to break his maiden. It took him 18 tries to break his maiden, but hopefully the light bulb has gone off now and he's in good form. That was a nice win last out with a 61 buyer. He gets the Bug Boy. The Bug Boy was aboard for that win last out. Gutierrez up there at Delaware. He's back aboard today, and she finds a nice spot here against 12-5 Two Life Company.
Well, it's a smart spot, and this is why Kathleen O'Connell wins at 20%. She enters her horses in the right spots and gets the job done. Now, High Flying Guy might be getting exactly what he needs, a little rain. His last 3 starts over 2 sloppy tracks and a wet fast track at Delaware Park have been 3 of his best starts of his life. The track is good right now. It's off and on showers all day, so he might get what he likes here today. He's on my ticket. First time against winners, always a little bit of a question, but certainly coming out of a good race, a decent race with a good number.
All right, so you have the 3 on top. Accusing gets Trevor McCarthy second off the claim here for Kelly Breen, a 3-year-old son of Blame, taking a drop in class today. Try to get him back in good form.
Yeah, try to get this horse back in good form. You don't have to go too far back into June. For 20,000, Kelly Breen had this horse, ends up back with it, claims it back, so that means something to me. Also ran a big race back in June at Monmouth Park, running a 67 speed figure and just getting beat ahead. Comes back 2 races later, runs a decent race and takes a little bit of a break. This will be second off a little bit of a layoff. Kelly Breen's 22% with this type of layoff, and he's getting a drop in class. I'm going to take Accusing with Trevor McCarthy.
Yeah, you have to respect the connections for sure. We both like the 6 as well. Praise the Moon from the Sergio Perdinas barn. He gets Rosario Montanez to ride his 5-year-old son of Malibu Moon. A good second 2 back in the slop up there at Penn National. So that was a decent race. Didn't run too well last out. That was against 16,000 Two Life. I don't think he's good enough to win it, but I think he's good enough to get a piece of it. Nonetheless, I do use him on my late pick 5 ticket.
Yeah, I use him too. You know, he's capable of running a pretty decent race. I didn't think that last race was all terrible. I think he got beat 7 lengths. The race before Penn National over the slop, that was a big race. Got beat 3 and ran a decent number. I mean, if it continues to rain, that could help Praise the Moon also.
All right, so a nice race here in race 6 to kick off the late pick 5. We have a couple more videos to show you in races 7 and 8. You like the late pick 4. Let's check it out here. I like the second half of today's card. Race 7, a nice beat nickel, 3 and up. A in 6 months, never won 4 lifetimes, 6 furlongs on the main track here in race 7. There's your late pick 4 ticket.
Yeah, my late pick 4 ticket, a nice affordable $12 ticket. I really, really wanted to do the same thing you did. I wanted to key on Army Gray here, but I was just a little afraid of the 5, technically speaking, for Kieran McGee. So I go Kieran McGee. I go 2 deep there using the 3 and the 5. I go 3 deep in the 8th using the 2, 5, and the 7. In the 9th race, 2 deep in that race using the 2 Super Buddy and the 11 Redneck Cowboy, and 2 deep in the last using the 1 and the 10. A nice affordable $12 ticket. I might even play my own ticket today.
Go for it.
I play it most days, but I'll definitely play it today for $12. Why not?
You hit it Friday. Now you're hit it again here today. The 3 Army Gray is going to be a popular favorite here in race 7. Let's show you his lifetime best effort. Last out, September 26th, right here at Laurel Park against claiming 5,000. This was at Delaware last out. He won 2 back here at Laurel, coming from off the pace against Nickel 2 Life. Then they took him up to Delaware. He went right to the front of Delaware against Nickel 3 Life, and he just cruised home by 6.5. He got a strong 67 buyer. That was his lifetime best. Claudio Gonzalez, he's rolling this fall. No surprise there. He has Army Gray, a 4-year-old son of Mission Impassable, in very good form right now. I think he holds his good form today. He doesn't step him up from the $5,000, stays at the $5,000 level, facing 4 Life Company today. He gets Jomar Torres to ride. They're a solid 23% together.
The only surprise would be if Claudio wasn't winning races, but this is exactly why he does. Stays right at this level off a really good effort. Short field. I mean, that was a short field, and we understand that it probably was a pretty soft field. Do you trounce a bunch like that, 6.5 length, and you deliver a lifetime best, as we mentioned, easy to do. Torres, Claudio Gonzalez, 24% together. Claudio's numbers everywhere are lights out. So are you going to be short priced? I think he gets the job done.
All right, and you have the 7 in your exacta. We both like the 7 here. Drive at Night for Damon Dildavica. Horacio Caramanos rides. This horse a 3-time winner at Laurel Park. A couple decent fourths in his last couple races.
A couple decent fourths, and I think this horse is trying to come back in a little bit of form since he's had a little bit of break from May to July. He's steadily gotten a little bit better. His numbers improved with every race. I think he can move forward again. I didn't use him on my pick 4. I do have my exacta. I don't think the Army Gray is beatable. They're all beatable. So he's going to be very, very tough. But I like Drive at Night and get a piece of it.
All right, so we like the same 4 horses there in race 7 with the 3 Army Gray on top. Let's take a look here at race 8. We kick off the final pick 3 of the day here in race 8. We're going a mile in a 16th, claiming 12,500 for 3-year-olds and upward. Never won 3 lifetime is the condition. We both have the 7 on top. Let's show you a video from back on August 25th at Timonium. This was a pretty good day for Haynes Fever. Let's see if we get a race like this out of him today. He's 8 in front, turning for home at the Big T. This was against 5,000, 2 Life Company. He wins by 12.5. About the length of the stretch as the heavy favorite this day. So Rudy Sanchez Solomon got him in good form this day. Then they stepped up to 16,000. 3 Life here at Laurel going a mile, a good second that day. And they got very ambitious, and they stepped up to an A other than where he's 26-1. That was too tough. Then they dropped back down to the 16, 3 Life last out in a decent third. They take the blinkers off today, get him he gets another drop today. This is a good level for the 7 Haynes Fever. Rider change, make the rider Angel Cruz on the 7 Haynes Fever.
We've talked about this before. Sometimes the horses go to the fair, go to Timonium, they run a big race, and all of a sudden it picks up his head. Since running at Timonium, look what his numbers have done. They've gone up by 10 points basically up and down the board. So this horse is in very, very good form. Okay, the A other than, too tough, probably a mistake, but he's back down to a level where he can be very, very competitive. He ran a lifetime best there at Timonium. I think he's going to be tough in this spot. As you mentioned, Angel Cruz rides for Rudy Solomon Sanchez.
All right, we both have the 5 in our exacta. The great Ludini, a 4-year-old son of greatness for trainer John Pimentel. Daniel Centeno will ride, and this is John Pimentel, no relation to our Julian Pimentel, different spelling. But how about Julian Pimentel going up to Belmont yesterday and winning a stake race? Nice job, Julian.
Nice job, Julian. And that was the filly who won the Sensible Lady here on one of our big weekends earlier this year.
Yep.
So, Laurel connections everywhere. But, look, the great Ludini's in good form right now over his last 2. He's run very, very well, firing some good, solid numbers with good results. Getting Daniel Centeno for John Pimentel. See what happens.
All right, so a cold 7-5 exacta for us there in race 8. Still 2 more races to go. Let's take a look here at race 9. We kick off the late daily double in race 9. Off the turf, we're going a flat mile here. 25,000 starter allowance company, 3 and up. Never won 3 lifetime is the condition. I go with the 6 on top here in race 9. Special Intention, a 4-year-old colt by Medaglia d'Oro, Weston Hamilton, off that big 3-win day yesterday. Weston Hamilton rides this horse. Hamilton won on this horse back on June 1st this past summer, going a mile on the main track. It came off the turf that day, a small 4-horse field, but he won coast to coast that day. Respectable 75 Beyer speed figure. And then they tried the 2 other than late June, no good. Brought him back in a turf sprint against 2 other than, an okay 4th that day. He stretched back out to a mile last out against 2 other than. He went to the front and finished 4th. So we get a nice class relief today, going from the 2 other than allowance company into this starter 3 life condition. I'll take a shot here with the 6 Special Intention. Has finished second once from 3 starts in the off-going.
In the off-going, and you always have to give a drop in class a lot of consideration, which you gave this one a little bit more than I did. I didn't use Special Intention. He's got such inconsistency all over his form. He doesn't usually put 2 back-to-back races together very often. In fact, he practically never does. The good news is he didn't run a very good race last time, so maybe he's got a shot today.
He can bounce back.
He can bounce back
to his best stride.
But look,
today.
he gets class relief, and that goes a long way.
All right, we both like the 2 Super Buddy. You have Super Buddy on top here. Main track only entry for Lacey Gaudette. The Gaudette barn with a nice win yesterday with enterprise value.
His last 3 starts have been pretty strong races, and other than at Delaware Park in last start. 7-horse field, so it stayed together pretty well, ran a decent number. 2 back at Timonium, nice race on the main track. But this horse is capable of a big race going a mile right here at Laurel Park, and you only have to go back to last December, less than a year ago, and you'll see he ran an 82 when he got to the front and just kept on going. Same thing could happen for him today, drawn down toward the inside.
And as of the last week or 2, he's a half-brother to a Grade 1 winner. Look at the dam this horse is out of. He's out of Cosmo's Buddy. That's Sabrina and Angie Moore's dam up there in Green Spring Valley. Cosmo's Buddy, the dam of Nixco, the Maryland bred, that just won down there at Keeneland at about 170 to 1.
Well, maybe he got the memo. Maybe he's got to show her up a little bit. So
we both like
shows up today.
We both like the 2. We both like the 11 on the outside. Redneck Cowboy entered main track only in this race by trainer Michael Moore. Trevor McCarthy will ride a sharp effort last out right here at Laurel Park in the slop.
Yeah, in the slot, but he's got a nice race, 2 back, 3 back at Monmouth Park for 12,003 lifetime, where he fired a 62 and got beat a length and a half on a fast track. So I think he's pretty versatile. I think he can go either way. If we get more rains, fine. If it stays the way it is, he'll be fine also.
All right, so we like some of the same horses there in race 9. One more race to go here on our Big Ten race Sunday afternoon. Race 10 off the turf here, so wide open race. You're free to have whatever opinion you want here in race 10. Trust us, it won't be too far off the board here. Race 10, maiden claiming 16,003 and up, 5.5 furlongs. Okay, you like the 1 a little bit too. I feel a little bit better now because I wasn't sure what I was picking here in race 10, but the 1 Pro Riot takes a drop today for trainer Mike Trombetta, so he has that going in his direction. He's by Union Rags out of a Speightstown mare. He's a well-bred sucker, been a little bit of a underachiever so far, but this will be his, he should be dead fit. This is his 4th race back this year as a 3-year-old. He gets Weston Hamilton. He gets a drop in class today. This is the easiest group that this well-bred horse has faced, the 1 Pro Riot.
And that's exactly why he's in my picks. He's in your picks, and you really can't say a whole lot. His first time out of Timonium over a year ago, decent effort, and then his next start was okay. Has been a disappointment. There's no question about that, but gets a class relief. And as the late, great Dickie Small would say, Mr. and Mrs. Lewis had 6 sons. Only 1 was named Joe.
right. That's right. That's a good one. Dickie,
he's the greatest.
Dickie, he had a bunch of good sayings here. All right, you have the 10 Jack of Spades on top here. Kenny Decker has this homebred for Jack's or Better Farm. You get the Bug Boy, Ray Lou Gutierrez.
Yeah, and I was disappointed to actually see you use this horse because I thought I had a coup here. You go 2 back, going 5.5 furlongs over a good track here at Lowell Park. He runs a 44 speed figure, which isn't a big figure, but it's good enough for this group here. And he comes back and he doesn't run a bad race in his last race. 2 races ago, maiden 40. Last race, maiden 25. Maiden 16 today. Jack of Spades all day long.
All right, so we both like the 110, 10-1 on top. We both like the 11 as well. The Constable, first start here on the main track. Well, I'm going to make that the second start on the main track. I was thinking it'd be his first start on a fast track, but it looks like we're going to have some kind of off track today. And let's just stays dry. It might dry out. It might be a fast track come race 10, and that would be the first start for the Constable on a fast track. He's tried the turf. He tried the slop last out. No good. Maybe it's a fast track for the 11, the Constable, later on.
Well, it very might be upgraded to a fast track by the time we get to the first, because the Harrows are on the racetrack as we speak. So they're opening this racetrack up. So that's a good sign. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep you up to date. But the Constable, look, he's going to have to take to the main track. Last to throw out the slop. Don't even consider it. He very well might. K1 King. They tend to prefer the turf. A few of them win on the dirt, but a lot of them like the turf.
All right, so race 10 is wide open. That's it. We're out of time. Big Sunday fun day here today at Laurel Park. All the live horse racing and football you can handle. Come out and join us. Get a table there at the Garden Terrace Tips. Enjoy Sunday brunch. We can smell it cooking up there, right?
Absolutely.
We'll have to get up there and check it out.
Absolutely.
All right, Dave Robin.
Sausages.
He's coming up next with scratches and changes. Good luck.